Good morning, guys. Welcome to Gap Down Monday, Tuesday. Welcome to Other Element. All right, so please cheer us up. Yeah, let me cheer you up. It's normal to lose money. It's normal to have those gap downs. Those that are seeing that they have foreseen it, and it was written all over the place. They're just bullshitting you, so that's cheering you up. All right, and maybe have faith in the taco. I don't fight with the news, but will it end up as a taco trade like most of the times? We don't know. I don't plan to be a hero to find out either. So yeah, so I'm gonna use TradingView this morning because I think that pre-market action is pretty important. So we'll start with TradingView and then we'll switch to TradersLab. But first thing that I wanted to show you is we've been in that VCP structure, right, for the past few weeks and months. All right, and today could be kind of the break of that structure, but on the wrong side. So we're basically breaking down from that recent swing low. We're right into the previous one, so January 2nd swing low. And that's kind of the line in the sand for me, in the sense that we can still see that as a right side range. All right, so unless we give that back, and even if we look at longer term, we'll still remain in that base, right? So the market is not done. The market is not crashing. We're not starting a new correction. We're not starting a new bear market. I don't want to hear those words. And I'm not saying them either. All right, so we'll take that one step at a time, one day at a time, not predict what could or should happen. We'll go level by level. If we trade below the 21 DME structure, then it simply needs that the market is in a short-term downtrend. All right, and the worst thing that you can say and do is to anticipate something bigger that you have no clues that can happen. All right, that's very important, at least in my mindset. And then do whatever you want with it. But I think that my mindset is decent. At least it made me money in the past few years, and that's just by staying focused on what's happening and not trying to predict or hacked in predicting what can happen. All right. So obviously those gap down sucks, but uh, like I wrote this morning, it's not the first and it won't be the last either. All right. So you have to accept those. They are part of the game. Uh, it's not that you made mistake. It's not that you are not a good trader. It's simply that the market heard a news that it didn't like, and then it's pricing on risk. All right, maybe it was waiting for something to just break and sell off. Maybe it was just the catalyst that it needed. But we know that the market does not like tariffs, that does not like geopolitical risk and turbulence as we have right now with the US and Europe. And I don't want to go into the details because at the end of the day, that's not important for me. Uh, Price is king, and we will follow price and the structure itself. All right. Um, so we talked about NQ. Let's just look at QQQE. So we don't have pre-market action, but obviously we will open below the 21 DME structure. Should open like probably 1.5 to 2%. So maybe right in those lows. All right. So that will be kind of a big area for potential support. We will need to look how price reacts to that area. Can we hold the buyers? Are they coming in aggressive to defend those price? Are they not? That's all the information that we will gather today. And that's not easy to do such pre-market game plan and analysis because we're lacking information. The gap down is first step. That's part of the information that we'll need to gather today. But for me, the most important is how the day will unfold, how the buyers will step in to defend the structure, to defend those important and key structure levels. And that's the most important thing above the gap down that we're having this morning. So that's why it's not easy this morning to do this call. Uh, because we don't have the full picture, and that's hard to really say what will happen during the day, where will we close, what at the end of the day will I do with my exposure, because I there's just too many scenarios that can go today and that will impact my decision making. So that's why during those days I will just cover briefly where things stand at the open, if I plan to cut some things at the open. Um, but most importantly, I will update during the day um, in the Alex Journal what I see from the market, how we respond to that gap, and what will I do for the rest of the day. All right, so let's keep it simple right now. And like I said, I will update along the day with the information that we gather. Yeah, and I don't want to hear that. I understand the question, Rob, but I'm not here to say or not say what you should do. Uh, all I can say is what I personally do, right? I cannot give recommendation of what you should do or not with your stop loss. That's not my place to say, all right? Um, so you have a system, respect it. If you're asking yourself the question this morning, what should I do on a gap down below my stop loss? It 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 shouldn't be. You already should know what you do in a gap down. All right. If you have too much risk, if you have too much open eat, and if you're not comfortable, that's okay to take some risk off the table. Adjust your exposure. You have to define what type of trader you are. Do you want to wait at the end of the day? Do you fully accept the risk that you took? My open eat and my new exposure risk was defined. I knew what I stand to lose, and I'm still well within my open eat. All right, so my risk was accepted. So now the game is to wait and see how the market will react, how my stock will react, and then we'll act according to that. But I'm still within my risk parameter. And again, I cannot say what you should or shouldn't do. Uh, you should already have a system in place and your rules in place. All right. Um, All right, so internals, credit spreads, we're gapping up right above the 21 DME structure. So that will be one to watch at the open and during the day. What will happen there? That will probably give a lot of information. Do we spike and need to retest kind of that structure? Or do we gap and fade and close below the 21 DME structure? We will take questions later, guys. Let me just finish with the analysis and I will cover them after that. All right, so that's probably a big clue today. I will watch credit spreads closely. They will reflect the risk appetite of institutions, and that will give us good information as are we still in a risk on market or will transition into a risk off market. All right, and the other thing, we're gapping down below a 21 DME structure. Breadth is still contracting, and remember last week, all right, so price was in a confirm uptrend, but we never got that breadth confirmation, and for me that was still a question mark. And now we'll have price below a declining 21 DMA structure, breadth contracting below the 10 DMA, and the McClellan might be or might not be oversold. That will need to be seen. So for me, that's not a dip to buy at the open, right? I want to manage my risk. I want to see what will happen, but that's not a place for me to be aggressive. That's not in this spot that I want to be. I want to be aggressive when we backtest a rising 21 DME structure. All right? That's the spot that I want aggressive. All right? Not when we open here and we don't know what will happen. Now we'll have the declining 21 DMA structure right in our face, and I don't like that. Obviously, if we gap down and put one of a hell of a hoops reversal, that's another thing. But until we have that information, how that open is bought, how the day goes, and if the buyers are stepping in later in the day, until then, that's just a manage your risk, wait, observe. We'll have more information, but for me that's not a spot to be aggressive and take new exposure. All right, I hope it's clear. All right, so let's review the positions. So CRDO, there's a lot of new exposure that is gapping right inside the 21 DME structure. So it's bad, but not that bad. All right. So we'll need to see again how the day goes. CRDO is one, opening right at the bottom of the 21 DME structure. VRT right at the 21 EMA. A-Lab still above the 21 DME structure pre-market. Oclo still in the 21 DME structure. QBTS still in the 21 DME structure. Salty, yeah, I'm taking a hit on that. And that's probably the last time that you see me trade outside Bitcoin crypto. And that will be gone. I thought about that this morning. Just considering that I don't want to trade those anymore, I will take my loss and just preserve my mental capital. I don't want to hold that. We're like 13% off the 21 DMA structure, so likeliness of having a long period or going nowhere below, and I don't want to tie my capital to that, so I will just remove that position at the open and not revisit. All right, that's the only position that I will close right at the open because I don't feel comfortable holding riskier crypto assets, let's say it in that way. All right, so SNDK and WDC memory group looks to be very strong pre-market, and that is a leading group. So obviously that's good to see the leaders keep leading. All right, that's good information. That's what we want to see. Let's see how they can open strong though. Pre-market is one thing, the open session is another thing. So I don't want to see them open strong and then fade. We want to hold that move. Rocket still above the 21-day mid structure. EBIT right at the bottom of the 21-day mid structure. I want to see how the day goes for that. So I'm on my soft stop loss. Same thing for Amazon. So Amazon is the other one that is gapping below the 21-day mid structure. Even the underlying asset. All right, so if it cannot reclaim the structure, then that's one that I want to close at the end of the day. Same thing for EBIT. If it closed below the 21-day mid structure, then that's another one that I will close at the end of the day. And iron, good thing that we trimmed that at 2R on Friday, last Friday, but it's still well above the 21-day mid structure. So good cushion. Let's see how the day goes. But I'm on my core, I'm my runner, and I want to see how the day goes on that as well. As for the focus list, I mentioned I'm not looking to buy that dip. First thing first, like I said, QQQE will be below declining 21-day structure. Brett might not be oversold yet. And until we see an oversold Brett, chances are that bounces will be sold. And I just want to not take that risk of being too aggressive in a short-term downtrend. And the other thing is, geopolitical risk is still and will remain elevated until that situation is resolved. And until we have that information, it's just throwing money, more risk into a riskier market. And I don't want to go that route. So for me, I have the exposure. I have good exposure, fully invested. I want to remain patient, like I said, during the day to see where it goes. And I don't plan to add that risk on that gap down. Something that I will be watching today though is all right, so we might have that oversold. So the McClellan summation itself is back into near oversold. And the McClellan oscillator with that gap down will be pretty deep into oversold is my guess. I want to see the open on that. But my point is I wouldn't turn too bearish. All right. Everything can happen with the tariff, obviously, but I wouldn't turn too bearish just with the fact that we're entering oversold readings already on the NASDAQ. All right, so let's take some questions. I hope that my view and my game plan is clear. I think high level is to say that I don't have a clue what will happen. All right, and the game is to see and to gather the information that the market will give us today, and we'll assess what we do along the day. But it's too soon to say what will happen. All right, we need that market feedback. We need that that information to take decision. But my risk is known. I accepted my risk, and I want to be patient, especially with most of my stuff still above or within their 21-day structure. Yeah, Kung Fu Panda Day. Yeah, that's very true. All right. Can you go over your open eat? Well, it's already in my portfolio update. Uh, I had 11% of open eat, and I'm well within that pre-market even with that gap down. So my open eat is if all my stop loss are hit, if the stocks are all below their 21-day mid structure, that's how I stand to lose. All right. And you need to know your open eat. That's a key metric. I want to know that. I want to know that open eat calculated on my new exposure itself. So I call that my NAIR. Um, and for me, it's important to know how I stand to lose on my new exposure as well. Could you take a look at user? I think that could be some kind of leading team. MP was a nice setup last week. The thing with user is it's not a good stock to trade. Uh, Look at the left side. Pop and drop, 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 pop and drop. That's all it does. There's one big pop and drop, but it made a new low from that pop. So uh, it can just pop and drop for eternity. I don't know. I would personally focus on MP. I think that's a better stock to trade if you're going for the rare heart team and group. A pullback to the 21-day mid structure would be a good place to initiate. Yeah, guys, if you're 100% cash, then that's definitely an opportunity. But be careful playing the open. There will be a lot of volatility. So yeah, you can wait to see how the market is reacting. That's the same game plan as myself. But instead of keeping your position and being patient with your exposure that you already have, then you can dip your toe and try some pullback into rising structure in the liquid leaders. If I would be 100% in cash, then if the market is reacting well, if we see oversold ratings in the MCO, that could be an opportunity to test the market. But keep in mind that price will be below a declining 21 DMA structure and Brett will be in a downtrend. So it's historically not a good risk reward environment to test new exposure. So keep that in mind. So Jay's asking, on gap down days like this, do you ever try putting in a limit order at 21? No, I never use those limit orders. I want to get that feel, that information, how the market and the stock is behaving before just adding an order into weakness. Buying weakness for me is a lot about looking at the internals, how the market is bought or not intraday. I don't want to buy blindly a retest of structure. I want to see some life into that to consider that buy. And we might be in a situation where kind of the stuff that was sitting up that had small cushion, and if we go a bit lower, stuff like core, stuff like GV, stuff like VRT, AMD will backtest their 21 DME structure and shake out. And that might be the time where the big leaders like SNDK, SATS, BE, Iron, Micron, LRCX, ASML will pull back into their own 21 DME structure. So there's a fractal way that the market is moving, and sometimes those deeper pullback and longer pullback will be what is needed for those top leaders to pull back into their 21 DME structure and a bit lower. Um, so you never know how deep and how long any pullback will be. All right, so and this gap down today could lead to a pullback, could lead to a correction, could lead to a bear market. I don't have a clue. It can also be bought aggressively, could be a shakeout, and we're into a new high within 2 3 days. All right, always go with the idea that you don't know what will happen and you just play what's in front of you. If you want to predict what will happen, then become a macro investor. All right, last question. That's a good question. Just uh, just dropping in the Discord, and he already know how things work. So yeah, we don't have crystal balls here. Uh, we're trying to follow price action first and react, and we have the system, we have the rules, we have what we want to see to engage again. And yeah, we'll follow that. All right, guys. So I wish I could tell you what will happen today. I wish I could tell you exactly what will I do today. But unfortunately, that's the kind of PMS session where I don't have a clue what will happen, and I cannot really tell you my game plan for today. So that will have to wait. I will update along the day, like I said in my Alex Journal channel. And yeah, let's see first how we open. Let's see how the day goes, and then hopefully we have a good close. All right, and if everything close weak, then that will be it, and we'll manage risk, reduce exposure at the end of the day, and we'll be back on the sidelines waiting for the right opportunity to strike back and the market to give us the signal to go in. Yeah, sure. VSCO. The only thing that I'm looking at is it never gave up the 21 DME structure since August, early August. So yeah, no idea what will happen. Maybe this is some climatic action and it will need more time to base. Yes, that's a valid 21 DME structure pullback, but we're a bit extended from the 10-week moving average. Um, so I would be a bit careful just knowing that it never closed below the 21 DME structure since August. So is it a bit late? My guess is it might be. Oh, that's a different story then. So in that case, if you're just managing your trade, then nothing to do. You should have trim already well into strength. of a much smaller size and just trail the 21 day structure. No guessing, just trading the structure. That's what I would do as well. I can take all the chart requests, guys, but that's a day where and go back to my git book. I explained that very well. For me, market is first. If we have a market below a declining 21 day structure and breadth is contracting, I'm not even looking at setups. All right, we're so used to hear setup, 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 setups, and if there's a setup, then you should take it, even if it's A plus. But even an A plus setup will fail in a bear market, guys. So if the market is really selling off and we're starting to trend below a declining 21 day structure and breadths really continue to accelerate to the downside, then I don't want to look at setups. I don't want to look at increasing my exposure. All right. So yeah, ONS is pulling back into the 21 day structure. But if the market is shitty and if it really don't like the tariff headlines, then it doesn't care that it's setting up well. All right. And you have no medals to be the first in. Maybe just wait and wait how it will react to the 21 day structure. All right, maybe it's like that, and we need and you'll have the information. All right, maybe it's like that, and we need to trend below the 21 day structure, and it will set up a bit later. We don't know, but all I know is for me, market is first, and I don't want to chase even the best setups in a bad market. That's probably the best reminder for folks today. If the market is really going into a contraction period, just don't buy all the dips and all the pullback into the 21 day structure. That's not the life of a pullback buyers. There's a story, there's a backdrop, there's how to say that, a good picture to buy pullback. And buying pullback must be done in a good market or shallow shakeouts. And once the market is not confirming that it's simply a backtest of a rising structure, then I don't want to buy the pullback. I want to turn defensive. Yeah, I will be patient with my exposure because I already have it. It's still within structure and we didn't close the day. So we don't know if we will start living below the declining 21 day structure. So be careful buying every dip, guys. There's a time to do so and a time not to do it. All right, so I hope it's clear. Um, let's so let's see how the day goes. Again, I want to see how the open goes. I want to see if the buyers are stepping in, and I'll assess at the end of the day if I can have enough conviction for a potential shakeout, or it will be time to turn a bit more defensive, manage the exposure, manage the risk, and then we'll be more cautious from here. All right, so have a good day, everyone. And don't hesitate to ask questions in the swing trading pit or in the Q&A channel in the Alex section. So we're here to help today. And yeah, take it slow, wait for more information. This is not a race. If the market is just shaking out, then there's no stress waiting at the end of the day. If that's really a shakeout, then there's no move done yet. So there's no stress missing the move. The worst thing that you can do today is to load the boat on a dip that keeps dipping. All right? So be careful for that. Have a good day, everyone. Cheers and take care. Be safe, and let's see what the market has in store for us. Cheers. Bye bye.